Love him or hate him, you can't deny he was the internet's first ever influencer.
Perez Hilton joins us on Uncensored Radio.
We have a very special guest tonight. You may know me, Katrina A. Johnson from Nickelodeon's All That, recently featured on TMZ. But before there was TMZ, there was only this guy. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Perez Hilton, live in the studio with us tonight. Welcome.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
Well,
welcome to our dysfunctional little family, Perez. We've got some weird layout going on today. I don't know what's happening. I was trying to get you up the top, but each to their own. You gotta pick where you are. How are things with you this morning? Are you this morning? Wait, you're this evening? I don't know where we are. We're all over the world here, so
it's afternoon time where I'm at.
Beautiful.
And right at this moment, things are nice and calm because my kids are still at school.
Oh, you're so lucky. The reason I was actually late, Perez, because my daughter's taken my proper headset. I don't know where it is. So this is what they do, man. They mess your life up. How are you finding being with kids during all that COVID crazy?
Well, thankfully, they're back at school. Not for me, but for them. I really know the importance of children seeing their friends regularly and learning from them, both good and bad. Mm-hmm. I did have a conversation recently with one of my children. The first time that it's happened, well, just because your friends did that doesn't mean you have to do that. I was like, if your friends jump off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge? Mm-hmm. One of my kids did something that they were not supposed to do, but apparently other friends of his at school were doing the same thing. And I said, I don't know if your other friends got in trouble for it, but you did. So I made sure to then, after speaking with my child privately, the next day to have the same conversation over again in front of the siblings so that everybody could hear what happened and learn from it so that they hopefully don't repeat the same mistake.
Yeah, totally, like getting them ahead of time. Like, we're just going to set you up so you know what's going on. I got to say, Perez, I don't know about you, but COVID, having the kids stay home, I was a little stressed out. And you know what helped me through it? My True 10 gummies.
Oh, thank you so much. I launched this new CBD brand. I've got it here myself, open. I take it open. I take it every day. It's truly the best CBD that I've ever had. And I'm not just saying that because it's my company, but ours is really different from most others. Most other CBD is oil-based. Ours is a water-soluble gummy. What that means is it's easier for your body to process and digest that, and it starts working quicker than most other CBD gummies out there, and I think more effectively as well. But don't just take my word for it. If you go to mytrue10.com, there's a whole list of reviews, and we use a third-party service to verify that it's real people who bought our products and not just us writing these things. And that's also very helpful because now that I'm co-owner, I've learned there's a lot that I cannot say because CBD is like the wild, wild west. It's not regulated. I cannot make any claims saying it will cure this. It will treat that. It can help you with that. But if other people say it, then I can take a screen grab and say, oh, that person took it for this issue and it helped them for that. Wow. So it's been a great learning process for me, educating myself, not just about CBD itself, but also about the CBD business.
And Jeffrey, you got to tell us how you feel.
I feel fabulous. They are amazing. Watermelon flavor. You every
so often.
They're delectable. I know every show we have, I'm always like, you know what, kids? I need a little CBD gummies by Perez, My True 10.
Thank you. Go to mytrue10.com. 10 milligrams of CBD per gummy, working in 10 minutes, and you can get it for $10. I came up with the name.
That works. Makes sense.
We're going to see where I'm at in 10 minutes.
True
I
test,
mean,
exactly.
it doesn't get you high. It's not.
I'm sad about that. I
It
know.
doesn't have any THC in them. I'm not sad about it. I'm one of those. Actually, I've learned over the last year and a half that it's not that uncommon to have the reaction to THC that I do. If I take weed, maybe not. I don't really smoke it. I'm not a fan of smoking it, but like maybe once or twice a decade, I would consume, or 3 times a decade, whatever, I would consume it. Like back in the day when people used to have weed brownies, like I would do that or whatever. Which I don't know if they were that effective because you'd like, cook it with the butter or whatever. But last year, I got a box, an entire package of weed stuff sent to me. And I just threw away the actual weed because that's not for me. And I don't even have a way to smoke it. But there were some THC gummies there. And I was like, oh, I'm curious. Let me try it. So I took a half because I'm not a weed person. So I'm like, let me take a half. And I made the mistake of meeting up with a friend for dinner. And because I was going out to dinner with a friend, I knew I was also going to be drinking. So I had my mom drive me there.
No.
And halfway there, I was like, oh my God, keep it together. You don't want your mom to know you're like tripping. Then I get to the
you're my spirit animal.
I got to the restaurant. Yeah, no, exactly. I could not. I felt like I was ultra parent. Everybody's looking at me. They all know. Why is everybody looking at me? And actually, bringing it back to all that or Nickelodeon for a minute. I believe that this is true. Amanda Bynes has said that what really triggered things for her was smoking so much marijuana. She might have dabbled in other drugs, but she has said on the record that it was marijuana. And marijuana can be very helpful for some people, and then for some people their brain does not handle marijuana THC well.
It's true. It can be scary especially if you're taking too much or obscene amount.
I took a half.
I'm
the same as Perez. I can't even handle like passive smoking it when there's people at a party or something doing it. I'm like, ah!
Okay, I have a confession. I recently took a flight to Paris. And I took half of a gummy.
You bitch.
On the flight. And I started tripping. I don't usually do any of that. I don't usually dabble. Well, I had a gummy. I thought, I'm in this 14-hour plane. I might as well just take a nap. I thought it would help. Well, it made me really anxious, really nervous. And I thought, oh no, everybody knows.
Yes.
I better not talk. And the flight attendants come by every, couple minutes. And they're like, oh, do you want some champagne? Do you want some wine? Do you want some Chardonnay? Do you want some this or that? Because it's Air France, so they give you lots of alcohol. And I was like, I really want more champagne, but I can't say anything because they'll know. And I was like,
Katrina's
like you should never try
sex on the
something
plane.
new on a plane when you're stuck. What are you doing?
Nuts? I'd be like getting hauled off because I'm like, we're gonna die, we're going down. It's
yes,
over.
so I won't be doing that again. I'll be sticking to some Maitri 10 from now on. Just to relax myself and don't go crazy.
Sounds like a good option.
Y'all are bad trippers. You are bad trippers. Do not do drugs with
Don't
your
try this
people.
at home.
My God, that's a bit scary. So, can you talk to us a little bit more about the development of it, Perez? Because you said earlier on that the beginning of COVID really did a bit of a number on your life and your, mental health. So, can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a funny story. Last year was actually the first year that I had ever tried CBD. I had never tried it before 2020. So what first happened was I put up an Instagram story saying, if anybody wants, in a moment of weakness, if anybody wants to send me some peanut brittle, please do. I just really wanted peanut brittle. I could have bought it myself, but my brain said, well, if it's given to me, then I will feel less guilty about eating it, because
Right, it's a gift. You have to.
yes, exactly. So I had all this
Right.
peanut brittle sent to me, and not just because of the peanut brittle, but also all of my other overeating. In the span of 3 months in 2020, I gained 30 pounds in 3 months. No, 32 pounds. 32 pounds in 3 months.
I feel
That
your
took a
pain.
lot of
Feel your
effort.
pain.
So then I said, well, I need to turn this around, and trying everything, not just hoping that CBD would be the answer, but I started to go on walks because the gyms were closed. And then I said, let me explore CBD. I've read about it. I've heard about it. I've never tried it. So I put up another Instagram story because I'm cheap. And I said, if anybody wants to send me some CBD, please do. So I had all these companies send me CBD. I realized quickly that the CBD oils were not for me. Gross, disgusting, not for me. Then,
Delicious.
like I mentioned a few minutes ago, CBD is not regulated by the FDA, so you don't know what you're going to get. Not all CBD gummies are created equal. Some of them, I didn't even feel it working. Like, I didn't think it was real. I'm like, is this a placebo? Like, what's going on here? Other ones I did think were good. And then I found this one gummy that was the best that I had tried. Leaps and bounds better than the rest. I was so benefited and helped by it that I felt compelled to reach out to them. And I said, hey, we need to work together and get this to the masses because it's helped me. And I think it could really help others. So we launched My True 10 together with their formula and improving on it, making some changes. And here we are. And we launched with just one flavor. Obviously, we're going to come out with others in the future. That's the plan. And to diversify our products as well. And I'm really, really I'm thankful that this little brand new company has already truly been able to help other people as well.
So did you get a good profit sharing percentage? I mean, right? Because being like the single dad is difficult.
Oh, Jeffrey.
We gotta talk. Listen, I just read your book this morning, and you talked about almost going broke, having to file bankruptcy. That you're pretty honest about money, and I think people that don't have it are always fascinated with people that have some dough, are honest about it.
I mean, I don't have enough.
I saw what your net worth supposedly is.
I wish. Oh my God. You cannot trust that. If I had $30 million like the internet says I do, then I would not be doing 80% of what I do.
Right.
I probably wouldn't be doing this, to be honest. No.
The internet says I have 11 million, and would I be in this hotel? No.
Are you in Canada?
No, I'm in North Dakota right now.
Oh, that looks like an apartment, though.
Yeah,
It looks very House Hunters, Kat. It looks like an early 20s couple are buying their first home, but they don't love the cabinets. It's one of those hot moments.
It's like that, except a hotel version.
Are you filming something there?
No, just taking some rich people on a private jet.
Really?
Yes, and secretly husband hunting at the same time.
In North Dakota.
So
on the jet, not necessarily in North Dakota.
So you work as a what is your
flight attendant? Yes, corporate flight attendant.
Oh, cool.
So
it pays, I bet you those probably pay. Does that pay better than a regular flight attendant?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the stories I've heard it pays better than Nickelodeon. Let's just see.
Yeah, sometimes.
And I would imagine if I took a private plane, I would feel compelled to tip. Like, I think it's kind of expected, right?
Yes, you would think, and you'd be surprised who doesn't.
But NDAs prevent her from telling that, don't they, Kat?
Although some things I don't tip. I always tip, like, I don't tip when I know the tip is already included.
Well, that's fair.
Like if I order room service and I see that they've got a gratuity charge in room service, I'm not going to tip on top of that.
Right.
But
Nor
for
should you.
a corporate plane flight attendant, I don't think gratuity is included, so then I'll tip for that.
Right. Well, that's perfect. Please come by anytime. And I also have to ask you, say if I were to take you on my private jet, would you be taking it to your smash pad? Because I would like to hear about
Pad's
that.
gone, right? The
I'm
Smash Pad's
interested
gone.
in obtaining one of my own, and I just need to know how is this done?
I don't have it anymore, and
Very heartbreaking.
do I regret it? I don't. Well, I do regret it just because it was really an unnecessary expense, and thankfully, I've reprogrammed my brain. I think so many of us around the same age grew up hearing this mantra. The mantra was, you need to live within your means. Okay, live within your means. I understand that concept. But my new mantra and what I'm trying to encourage others to do is don't just live within your means. You really, really need to live below your means. So yes, back in the day when I had that smash pad, I could afford it, but I wish that I hadn't wasted the money on that now. I wish that I would have been smarter with it and saved, and not just saved, invested it, like tried to build wealth with that money.
But if you didn't have it, where would you have fingered Howard Stern's little crony's booty hole? That was amazing.
It probably would not have happened. Yes.
He's like, I gotta go back to my fuck pad and finger Howard Stern's buddy.
What Jeffrey's alluding to is, of course, your biography. TMI, My Life in Scandal, which is very honest, Perez. You're not backwards in coming forwards. You do admit to a lot of the things that people are going to, ding you for, because as being you, that people have an opinion of you.
Such bullshit.
I loved how honest you were about things that have happened. Was that obviously it's your choice to get your side of the story out there, and without people going, that's not true. Like, well, this is my truth.
That's not even the real reason I wrote the memoir. I wrote it just because it's another piece of content. It was another opportunity to do press. Not even to me, more important than the money was keeping my name and likeness out there and stories being written about me. And I know that is what keeps somebody going. If people forget about you, it's over. If people don't want to talk to you, it's over. I wish that I didn't feel I was talking about this in therapy recently. I know that I have changed and I don't do things how I used to, but I could probably do things a little bit differently to help people see me in a different way. But I don't think, even if I did all of that it would make much of a difference. Exactly. Like the people that hate me, like no matter what I do, will continue to hate me. So one of the things that I do is whenever I get negative feedback, whether that be nasty comments on Instagram, I'll pin them on the post and they'll be the first things you see. Or if I get hate tweets, I'll retweet them.
You just did it earlier today about that article from the Times where the chick said, I don't even remember what she said.
Most normal people, like most normal celebrities, although I don't consider myself a celebrity, they would not retweet their hate. But for me, I know that retweeting hate is only a positive because it'll get me even more engagement. It'll be the people that agree with the hate will chime in and the people that disagree will defend me. Either way, it's a great engagement generator.
And how many of them are really fucking hypocrites anyways? Because they were all clicking on the site 10 years ago, going apeshit because everybody was glued to what was going on with Brittany and Lindsay. And they're gonna act
Oh,
now
yeah.
like they were not there reading it all along. Like, fuck them. Like,
You know, it's funny you bring up celebrity, Perez, because that's how, obviously, everyone knows that's how your career started, was you commented on celebrity and you were writing about it, you know, you're writing about the Vadges and the cars and whatever. But then you moved over into that celebrity sphere yourself. You know, you did, I remember, Not Another Gay Movie, like it was an indie film, but you were in it. Then you were on like Celebrity Big Brother UK. And I lived for those fights with Katie Hopkins. I don't know why. I was just like, I need to keep seeing this shit. Like, this was crazy shit. But yeah, that whole transition. And then, like, you know, you did I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here over here in Oz. So, yeah. How was that, though, for you, though? Like, that transition of commenting and then being part of and being commented on?
It was natural because, you know, you look at somebody like Howard Stern, the same thing happened to him. Or you look at, you know, Barbara Walters, you know, if you are somebody with a big personality, that can happen where you're bigger than the genre. And actually, I attribute that to my success. You know, if you look at a popular YouTuber now, or a popular TikToker, or a popular Instagrammer, they might have 10 million followers on that platform. But if nobody knows you outside of TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, you're probably not going to be able to sustain success because the algorithm changes. People grow up and grow out of you. They get tired, which is also one of the reasons why it does break my heart a little, but I understand it. I have compassion. You know, the influencer space has changed so much since I started and I was the first influencer. The shelf life of influencers has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. And the age of popular influencers have also, for the most part, there clearly are exceptions to everything. They keep getting younger and younger and younger. And now that career has been around for a while. So we're seeing influencers who were very popular 7 years ago, 5 years ago, who are not anymore. And they first achieved prominence when they were just teenagers. And now they're in their late teens and early 20s. And I see, because it's my job, so many of them turning to OnlyFans. And there's nothing wrong with doing sex work. However, it's not very well thought out, I think, because how sustainable a business model is that? Once somebody's seen you naked for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, are they going to keep paying to see you naked or have sex for 2 years? Probably not.
Not unless you're constantly upping the ante.
Exactly.
Which is hard to fucking do.
Exactly. It's hard. I mean, I pray that my children don't want to be influencers.
They already are. They're all over YouTube. You just took them to the 99-cent store and I was horrified. Like, your mother was smart.
But if they do go down that path, I will be able to give them a lot of advice and share with them all of the mistakes that I made. And the thing is, when I began, there really even wasn't social media when I began. There was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, there was no TikTok. It was me and Facebook, and I began simultaneously with it was me and MySpace actually, and I began simultaneously with Facebook. They launched within months of me. Now the creator world has been around for so long that there are managers who specialize in managing influencers. So they know what to do to really set up an influencer for long-term success. And the first and most important thing is knowing and understanding that this career is going to eventually be over for them. So they need to have an exit strategy in place, meaning they need to diversify and build businesses. That's why you keep seeing now influencers start a makeup line or an energy drink or whatever, or a fashion line or whatever it might be. And I love it. And they're all doe-eyed and they might be making a lot of money now. But everything is just a recycling of the past. A lot of these businesses that the influencers start, maybe even me, chances are my True 10 might flop. It might not have legs. I hope it does, but it might not. And, like in the early 2000s, celebrities, the original influencers, they all had a perfume. It was all about the celebrity fragrance. And it was also all about the celebrity fashion line. Everybody had their fashion line. Only now is it about makeup. People aren't doing as many fragrances as before and all of this stuff. But most of those celebrity fashion lines and some of the celebrity fragrances are still around, but a lot of the celebrity fashion lines are done, kaput. So I wish them all success, and it's good to try these things. Strike while you're hot, because you're not always going to be hot. Like, I'm not hot anymore. I'm not an it girl. I used to be an it girl. It was fun being an it girl, but I've been doing what I do now for 17 years. I'm just thankful that I still am able to make a living doing this and working hard at hustling like a mofo, and having fun also. I'm still really grateful every day when I wake up and I'm able to enjoy what I do for a living.
It's a very lucky thing, I think, that doesn't happen very often for people.
And the good thing about you is you're not afraid to try things like a Celebrity Big Brother, like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, like my True 10 gummies. But I got a little bit hooked, and I know it's a couple of years ago. I got a little bit hooked the other day on worst Cooks in America. I felt like that showed a very different side to you at that time, and you can cook. Do you still cook, Perez? I need to know these things. Do you still cook?
Well, I'm always honest. I thought I couldn't cook because I've never cooked. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I never got in the kitchen. I would never cook. And then I got into the kitchen and I'm like, this isn't, because I love to eat. So if you love to eat, I think you know how to cook maybe. But I haven't been doing much cooking since I got out of there because I'm just so busy, but also I'm busy. I'm busy, and it helps me to be healthier, to eat the way that I do, which is really boring. I go to Trader Joe's and I pick up all these pre-made salads, and I have literally 14 salads for the week. It's for lunch and dinner.
It's working though. Look at you.
Well, I've kind of veered off a little over the last 2 months because I was in Vegas for 3 weeks and my eating was just
Listen, boo, I know I'm like the gay Kirstie Alley because you never know what size I'm gonna be, like I've got to eat it. I was reading the book and I was like, I feel it, I get it, I know. The fat kid that just watched TV after school. We had no life, just food will make us feel better.
So the podcast is still going super, super strong. Your relationship with Chris is amazing to watch unfold.
He gives you so much shit.
I feel you because I have to do that with these guys. So.
Yeah, it's crazy how long we've been doing the podcast. Over 6 years now. The Perez Hilton podcast with Chris Booker. You can hear it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the iHeart app, or directly at perezpodcast.com. And now we're also uploading it onto my at Perez Hilton YouTube channel. I used to think the first year or 2 or 3 of doing the podcast, this is so good. We have such a great dynamic together. This is going to give us a TV show. And now by year 6, I'm like, oh, damn, that TV show's not happening.
We know, Karen.
We don't know how you feel at all. We don't know anything about that life.
and honestly, I hardly make any money on the podcast.
We definitely know how that feels.
Well, you know what? Before podcasts were cool, when we first started this, and Karen, Ashley from the Power Rangers was on, we actually started getting checks there for a while, and that was quite nice. But nobody knew what the hell a podcast was.
How long have you guys been doing yours?
We started it in like 2010, but then we stopped for a bunch of years, and Katrina and I rebooted it with COVID. because we were all scattered
With
throughout all
COVID.
over the world. So there was no platform at the time to keep doing what we were doing. It got rough.
It did.
But
But
it
we're
was
back.
fun.
We're back again.
Causing more trouble.
We are
Katrina,
causing more trouble.
I know you got to ask him a question because I know he's got to go in a second.
Oh,
Our favorite
yeah.
question.
No, okay. All right. I'm sorry to do this to you. Sorry, not sorry, because this is how we roll. I just need to know, Mr. Perez Hilton, how many
my God.
quarters?
How many what?
How many quarters are we working with?
What does
You
that
have
mean?
to explain. You have to explain it a
He's
bit
like,
more,
what the
guys.
fuck?
He's like,
Okay. If you were to take your little Perez and lay him out on the counter next to a bunch of quarters, how many quarters would we be working with?
You could consider like a quarter.
Me or him?
You.
You.
Oh,
Yes,
you're like
every male
literally.
guest.
You're
Yes.
literally asking me my penis size?
Well,
Yes,
but
that's
in
where they're
quarters.
going.
I've measured it, so I know the exact measurement: 8.5 inches.
Oh, jeez.
That's a win.
There
That
we
is
go.
a win. That's
What,
a lot of
Not
quarters.
what a
bad.
conversation
How many
killer,
quarters?
guys. What a conversation
Jeffrey,
I
killer.
don't mind
quarters is
sharing. I love it. You know, when you've got a big dick that's bigger than average, you take pride in that.
He's like 8.5 quarters. Which,
That's
by the
like, I
way,
think that's
you
9
can-
quarters. That's a
you
lot.
can go pick up our T-shirts over at our Redbubble page, and you can ask
Woo!
people how many quarters, because your
Ah.
stranger would measure up.
God, Jeffrey.
So of course
I'm a filthy whore.
we
I'll love
have
anything.
we have the Bible for everything pop culture still going strong at Perezhilton.com. What else have we got coming up besides some more True 10 stuff, Perez? Have you got anything you can tell us about that's bubbling under, or you're just going to keep slogging away for everything you do?
I'm really so hyper focused and committed on growing my True 10. Like, I keep having great ideas of what I want to do next and do things differently to really ensure that it works long term. Because like 12 years ago, I partnered in a liquor company, and I'm like, oh, my liquor is going to be bought by a bigger company, and I'm going to strike it rich with this liquor company. And that never happened. But I wasn't as involved as I am with the CBD gummies. This, I'm so hands-on. So I'm really focused on that. And of course, I'm putting it out into the universe. I would love to do more television. And to be even more specific, listen, I know absolutely, like Joan Rivers,
Oh,
you just
God
have to
bless
say
her.
you just have to say yes to everything. So if
Mhm.
I get offered more reality TV, I'll do it. But my dream situation would be to do more acting. I'd love to be in a sitcom. That's my going back to what I went to school for at NYU and dreamed about when I was young.
Boo,
You'd
just
be great.
listen, you and Katrina, we can hook you up in something. You know what I'm saying? Cause a little trouble.
Yeah,
Or-
Jeffrey, make the calls. We'll do it.
The other thing that I want to do, which I'm also trying to manifest, and maybe this one might be easier. I've already been in a couple. I've been in 4 horror films. I would love to do more because I'm a huge horror aficionado. It's my favorite movie genre,
Oh.
and so is my son, who is 8, loves horror movies as well.
I feel like that's the age you get into it, though. Like 8 years old is when I started to Halloween 4. It was I directly remember
the shit
Halloween
out of
4.
him, though.
Like,
Did you
I
see
know.
Universal, like how he got scared before he even got in the haunted house.
I think it was, the sensory overload of it all. Whereas in a movie theater or watching it at home, it's not quite like literally in your face with the guys in costumes coming up to you with a chainsaw, making that noise. It's like, ah! Even I get scared. Like, oh my God, that chainsaw. I always like, ah.
My 8-year-old talked a lot of shit for a long time that he wanted to watch Chucky. So I'm like, all right, we're going to watch the original. So we sat one night, and he got to the point where the doll came and it jumped on the mom's back, and he's like, oh, I can't watch this. That doll was swearing. I can't watch that. It's swearing. I'm like, sure, and that's what
Did
it
you
was.
say, have you met your father?
Right. What the fuck? I said with love.
Each to their own. Well, thank you very much for your time, Perez. We've well and truly covered everything that we've wanted to talk to you about. So yeah, we've had a great time. Thank you for making time in your busy life. Everyone, make sure that you jump over to mytrue10.com to check out Perez's brand new
They're
range
delicious.
of CD gummies.
And 20 minutes later, I feel so calm and chill.
Oh, thank you.
I love them.
Thank
You just need Jeffrey as your test subject.
I'm telling you, I love. Dude, I put pictures on Twitter of me with them. I'm like, buy them.
Don't. Jeffrey will probably shelve one.
Listen, I feel like right when you watch the view, Barbara Walters was constantly plugging Audition. And so when you do it on Twitter, I crack up, especially when people get pissed. They're like, enough already. I'm like, do it more.
It's not going to sell itself, is it?
Right.
You got it.
People are so busy every day. They need to constantly. It's about timing. They need to be reminded about things, and at the right time, they'll try it.
Exactly. So if you can, we can't legally in Australia yet, but one day.
Oh, we can.
One day soon. Yeah, that's amazing. Last time I was in Hawaii, I was like, oh, there's CBD everything here. Got really excited.
I'll
Had a
stick
bit
them
of
in
an
a teddy
afternoon
bear's
sleep.
ass and ship them over.
Oh. Yeah, I don't need to be Chappelle Corby and be arrested for drugs. Thank you. All good. I'm too pretty for prison. I can't.
Thank you, Perez, for taking the time out and
Thank
coming to
you.
hang with us for a few minutes.
You're a champion, man.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome.
And
All
white
right.
people, get off your ass and stop being mean because we know they were clicking on that page.
Thank you. All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, Perez. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.